offer my gratitude to all who have come to encounter the Dharma at this time, in a world where the outside world remains as hectic as ever. Some, however, are beginning to feel a surprising lightness in their lives. Things that were once heavy are no longer as burdensome, things that once pressured them have eased, and obstacles that once seemed like high walls have peacefully receded, as if something is loosening its grip. Many cannot help but wonder if this is a coincidence or good fortune. In truth, this is a time when some past karma is bearing fruit, becoming less intense, and the merit accumulated is beginning to continuously yield its effects. In Buddhism, karma is not a curse, it is action comprised of 7 elements. When an action is performed, it will have consequences according to its causes and conditions. Some lead to liberation from evil, some have immediate results, and some follow in various forms. Some suffering is followed by opportunities, peace, tranquility, and good people. However, what many fail to notice is that while past karma is leaving its dust, we are creating new karma every day. If we continue to respond to the world with anger, thinking evil thoughts, speaking evil words, and doing evil, no matter how much good karma we have in the past, life can still cycle back to hardship. Therefore, the signs we will consider today are not just signs of the end of past karma, but also signs that our inner selves are no longer creating new chains for ourselves as before. So, when life begins to unravel, don't rush to think that everything is over, but also don't underestimate this as a minor issue. This may be a crucial sign that the root cause of suffering that was lurking is weakening, and, more importantly, that our hearts are beginning to. Don't create new karma that burdens yourself like before. Many people desire wealth, success, and an easier life, but what is more precious is having a heart free from suffering, even amidst change. Because even if you have everything in the world, if your heart is still restless, you will not escape suffering. But when the heart begins to calm, greed subsides, anger shortens, and delusion begins to diminish, that's when true merit begins to appear. It's not merit that makes you superior to others, but merit that lightens your suffering, reveals your life's path more clearly, and allows you to choose things that don't harm yourself or others. Today, we will gradually consider together 7 important signs that may indicate that some past karma is settling down, and your life is now entering a new phase. It's not just about increasing peace and merit, but listen deeply, because these signs are not secrets, not supernatural. They are matters of cause and effect that those with mindfulness can observe in their own lives. The first sign is that the mind begins to truly calm. Have you noticed that things that used to keep you awake at night no longer bother you as before? Some words that used to sting you all day now just pass by. The injustice that once made you tremble, though still present, doesn't sink into your heart. This isn't indifference, nor a loss of feeling, but a sign of a stronger mind, a mind that is aware of its emotions, a mind that is not ready to repeatedly burn itself with the same old thoughts. When the past karma that torments your mind begins to lessen, before anything else, we will find one thing: inner peace. This isn't peace because the world is perfect, but a peace that arises even when the world isn't as perfect as we desire. The Buddha taught that whoever trains their mind will have an inner refuge. Even if external storms rage, if the mind doesn't accept additional fuel for suffering, it cannot spread, like a fire without fuel to ignite. In the time of the Buddha, there is the story of Angulimala. Before becoming a monk, he committed extremely serious karmic offenses. But when he met the Buddha, his once dark heart surrendered, he laid down his weapons, admitted his mistakes, and began to train himself. Even though villagers beat him with stones, blood flowed, and his body ached, his heart did not return to being a thief. He did not harbor resentment, retaliate, or create new karma to exacerbate his past. The Buddha told him to be patient, because the consequences would be even greater. This suffering has been alleviated through a change of heart and practice. This reminds us that the sign that past karma is weakening is not that life is unaffected, but that even when faced with external stimuli, one doesn't react as violently as before. The body may still receive the consequences of past actions, but the mind is beginning to free itself from its enslavement. The same is true for some theists today. Some used to drive home to Bangkok feeling irritable every evening, getting angry at even a small traffic light, or dwelling on a reprimand from their boss. But after turning to practicing morality, chanting morning and evening, and meditating, even for just a few minutes each day, they found that while the traffic is still the same, the workload is still heavy, and the crowds are still strong, their minds are no longer as troubled. Some who before had to rush to respond to every message and explain themselves every time. It's often misunderstood that people rush to win every conversation out of fear that silence will put them at a disadvantage. But when their hearts find solace in Dharma, they realize that some things are better left silent, some are better left unsaid, and some don't need to be proven at all, because the truth never needs to be spoken aloud. If during this period you start to forgive more easily, let go more quickly, don't want to win every argument, don't want to explain yourself to everyone, and don't crave acceptance as before, know that this is a very beautiful sign. Because when the heart begins to calm, the old karma that held us back with anger and resentment is gradually releasing its grip. And when the heart is no longer as turbulent as before, what changes is often not just our inner feelings, but also the way people treat us. This will lead us to the second sign, which many people overlook. While the second, very clear sign is that you begin to encounter more true friends. When heavy karma burdens us, it often leads us to people who add to our suffering, who exploit us, who drag us down. But as our hearts become purer and merit begins to work, the people who enter our lives change. You might meet a teacher whose words, in just a few words, awaken your awareness for a lifetime. You might meet sincere friends who won't lead you astray, or you might meet elders who open opportunities for you without expecting anything in return. The Buddha said that true friends are everything. Having good friends makes you more likely to listen to the Dharma, think correctly, and live correctly. When past karma is similar to yours, you won't just attract luck, but also people who are contributing factors to a better life. Many people have improved their lives not because of a large sum of money, but because they met good people. At the right time, you might encounter a boss who gives you opportunities to seize or trample on others, a friend who offers constructive criticism instead of leading you astray, or a life mentor who teaches you to be more honest with yourself. These are the fruits of good deeds blossoming in Thai society today. Many people have been caught in cycles of comparison, gossip, drinking to escape suffering, or associating solely for personal gain. But when they begin to consistently practice morality, do good deeds, and cultivate mindfulness daily, they find that the people who approach them are different. They become calm individuals, people they can be around without having to be so cautious, and people who inspire them to improve their lives, not destroy them. Sometimes, true friends don't come as people who stay with you forever. They might appear as someone you meet temporarily who says something that truly resonates with you. Changing your mindset or even just one sermon can break the cycle that led your life down. Therefore, when good karma begins to bear fruit, the people who enter your life will be different, and even if some leave, you will see more clearly who has been kind to you and who has been a lesson. If you're starting to meet people who bring stability to your life, not excitement, and who inspire you to be a better person, not someone who wants to win against others, then rejoice with yourself. This is another sign that the old karma that attracted turmoil is weakening. However, the problems don't stop there. As your heart improves and your surroundings improve, another side of the problem will gradually become apparent. Your body and mind will begin to recover. This will lead you to the third sign. Your health will gradually improve, and your mind will feel refreshed. It arises naturally when past karma is heavy. Both body and mind often bear the pressure together. Overthinking leads to shallow sleep, fear causes shortness of breath, stress causes shoulder, headache, and stomach pain. Some people visit doctors multiple times, and even after many physical examinations, nothing serious is found, yet their minds remain weary, as if constantly carrying a heavy burden. When the mind begins to release hatred, anxiety, and fear, breathing changes, sleep patterns change, and the expression in the eyes changes. The body won't be cured of all ailments immediately, but the inner suffering will significantly decrease. And when the mind stops releasing toxins into the body daily, the body has a greater chance of recovery. The Buddha taught that the body and mind are interdependent. When the mind is disturbed less, the body benefits as well. Some monks, even with illnesses, live with their illnesses peacefully because their minds don't cling to them. Conversely, some people whose bodies aren't seriously ill but whose minds are. Being consumed by stress all day long can be more painful than having a serious illness. In Thai society today, many people wake up with their mobile phones and go to sleep worried. Before they even get out of bed, their minds are already overwhelmed with bad news, unfinished work, debts, and comparisons to others. But if you change a small habit, such as waking up and praying first, taking 3 deep breaths, and briefly reflecting on the impermanence of life, before starting the big day, you will unexpectedly feel more stable. Some people who used to feel weak in the mornings, after giving up vices, reducing foul language, and not letting the anger of others consume them throughout the day, find themselves having more energy to work. This isn't a miracle, but the result of not constantly filling your heart with the seeds of suffering. If lately you've started to feel lighter, your mind clearer, and you're not as easily troubled as before, even if you haven't changed your whole life overnight, it's a positive sign. This is another sign that some of your past karma is weakening and your merit is quietly protecting both your body and mind. At that point, many people will notice something very clear. Things that were previously difficult begin to clear up without much effort. This is the fourth sign. The fourth sign is that opportunities and smoothness begin to arrive at the right time. Previously, everything went smoothly. Work went awry, important discussions went wrong, those who should have helped didn't, and seemingly small things became big obstacles. But when past karma subsides, your heart isn't rushed, your words aren't harsh, your decisions aren't swayed by emotions, and things begin to fall into place more. It's important to understand that true smoothness isn't that everything goes as planned, but that what should happen happens, and what should be enough happens. Things shouldn't be prolonged, let them go. When wisdom arises, we won't call every obstacle bad luck, nor every success good fortune. Instead, we'll see that many things are the result of ripe causes. Some people try for years without finding a suitable job, but once they start organizing their lives, stop lying, stop associating with bad company, focus on doing their job well, and protect their hearts from discouragement, one day the opportunity will come, slowly but steadily, not suddenly but at the right moment. This is the smooth path that arises from contributing factors, not random chance. Another point is that when past karma lessens, we tend to have enough mindfulness to see open doors. Before, opportunities may have come, but our hearts were too dark, too hesitant, or too fearful to see them. Once the karmic ties clear, we can see the way. What already exists is becoming clearer, and you should use it correctly. If during this period you begin to feel that good things are coming peacefully, not flashy but stable, and things that should succeed are gradually accomplished, and things that should be relieved are gradually relieved, know that it is not all a coincidence, but the result of past merit beginning to bear fruit with the new awareness you are cultivating every day. However, when smoothness begins to appear, the thing most people notice first is usually their livelihood and finances. Nevertheless, this must be considered wisely, which will lead us to the fifth sign. The fifth sign is that finances are stabilizing, and wealth is not leaking away as before. A person with merit doesn't necessarily have the most money, but will gradually have enough, a way forward, and be prudent. When past karma related to finances begins to resemble what is happening, it's often not just about earning more money, but also about spending it more wisely. Before, some people could never have enough, not always because they earned less, but perhaps because they impulsively bought things to fill the void, spent to show off, invested because they didn't want it, or lost money recklessly. When their desires started to diminish, the first thing to change was eliminating unnecessary desires. As desires decreased, the wiseness of spending also decreased. The Buddha taught about right livelihood, samma jiva, earning a living properly, and about using wealth wisely to support oneself, one's family, help benefactors, and make merit. Wealth earned from the right source and used with the right mindset is wealth that doesn't burn the heart of its owner. In Thai society, many are beginning to see this change clearly when they stop vices, reduce gambling, stop buying things to spite life, and stop working while knowing it's morally wrong. Even if your initial income doesn't skyrocket, the financial leaks start to disappear, money becomes more stable, your home becomes more peaceful, and your mind is less fearful of the future. This is the nature of merit. It not only brings in money but also closes the avenues for money to flow out due to negative actions. If during this period you start having enough money to live on, start saving, stop experiencing unnecessary losses, or even if your income remains the same but your financial worries decrease significantly, this is a clear sign that some past karma has been mitigated and merit is establishing itself in your life. However, good fortune alone is not the completeness of life, because if there is still turmoil in your home, if there are people trying to harm you, even with wealth, it will be difficult to find peace. Therefore, the sixth signal is very important. The sixth signal is relationships. Relationships begin to smooth out, and toxic people gradually distance themselves. When our hearts are filled with merit, we won't want to be in the cycle of slander anymore. We won't want to talk about others for personal gain, we won't want to share anyone's secrets for entertainment, and we won't want to retaliate with hurtful words that weigh down our own hearts. This is what causes relationships to change naturally. People who come into our lives solely for personal gain may begin to disappear. People who constantly stir up anger in our hearts may start to distance themselves, not because we are running away from the world, but because the power of our hearts changes, and incompatible things gradually withdraw on their own. The Buddha taught about loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Those who truly practice the Dharma will not only be skilled in meditation but will also begin to use their speech carefully, knowing when to be silent, when to speak, and when to give. Forgiveness and knowing when to set boundaries without anger. This is the beauty of those whose good karma is guiding them. In many Thai homes, suffering doesn't just come from poverty, but also from harsh words, accumulated resentments, unwillingness to apologize, and the desire to win against family members or enemies. But when one person begins to regain self-awareness, reduces their ego, apologizes when wrong, and stops the cycle of negativity, the entire home can gradually change in an unbelievable way. If you feel that your relationships are becoming more stable, unnecessary arguments are decreasing, sincere people are growing closer, and those who trouble you are distancing themselves, this is not a small matter. Being in a relationship free from hurtful words is one of the most valuable blessings in human life. All that has been mentioned is not the ultimate sign, because peace, good friends, health, financial opportunities, and good relationships are all results that occur in this world. The ultimate sign is what happens directly to the heart, which is the seventh sign. The seventh sign is when you begin to release your attachments and develop a stronger faith in the Dharma. Those who truly release their past karma will begin to see that there is nothing in life that is worth clinging to excessively, not because they have lost love, but because they see the world more realistically. They see that success is impermanent, disappointment is impermanent, the body is impermanent, loved ones are impermanent, and even oneself cannot be controlled to be as one wishes every day. This is the ultimate sign. It is not seeing a light, not having a strange dream, not waiting for a miracle, but the quiet reduction of negativity, anger, and delusion in the heart, and the beginning of faith in the Dharma. The law of cause and effect, unwavering even in the face of illness, remains strong. Even in the face of a broken heart, one knows how to use what one gains and how to let go of what one loses. In the time of the Buddha, Kisa Gotami suffered greatly from the loss of her son and refused to accept the reality of his death. The Buddha instructed her to ask for mustard seeds from a house where no one had ever died. She walked throughout the village and found that no house was free from death. Seeing this truth for herself, her heart gradually loosened from attachment, and the suffering that had burned her began to subside. This story shows that liberation from suffering is not about making the world unchanging, but about enabling the heart to adapt to change without breaking. When faith in the Dharma strengthens, life becomes miraculously simpler. We may still have the same job, live the same house, and lead the same life, but our hearts remain unchanged. The usual frenziedness no longer needs to be anchored by praise as much as before. You no longer need to constantly escape reality with entertainment because you're beginning to realize that true refuge isn't entirely external, but rather in training your mind to see things as they truly are. If during this period you start wanting to go to a temple without being told, start wanting to sit quietly without feeling like you're wasting time, start contemplating death without panic, start feeling more calm than excited, start believing that good deeds are never in vain, and start loving women as much as you once loved external success, know that this is the highest sign that much of your past karma has borne fruit, and your merit is leading your heart into true peace. At this point, many may ask, if these signs appear, what should we do next? How can we maintain our merit so that it doesn't run out? How can we maintain peace and prevent it from disappearing? The answer is to not be negligent, because merit is like clean water. If you don't constantly replenish it with good deeds, it will gradually dry up, and new karma is always ready to arise if we return to speaking ill, thinking ill, and doing evil as before. Maintain your precepts as firmly as you can, because precepts are a wall that prevents your heart from easily falling back into darkness. Cultivate mindfulness in small things, such as while washing rice paddies, eating, driving, or even when arguing, because those who are mindful in small matters will not make serious mistakes in big matters. Do good deeds consistently. Don't wait until you have a target. A gentle smile, kind words, honesty in your duties, small acts of sharing, and not taking advantage of others are all merits that prolong peace in life. Remember that the good things that happen today are not meant to be missed. The merit we accumulate is there to remind us to be grateful for good deeds and to continue creating good causes. Those who understand this will not use their merit to show off, but will use it to keep their hearts humble and virtuous. If you can do this, the merit you possess will not only endure but will gradually mature into a coolness of heart. From this coolness of heart, wisdom will arise. From this wisdom, correct acceptance will occur. And from correct acceptance, life will not be easily swayed, no matter how much the external world changes. When we consider this, the 7 signs mentioned are not fortune tellers, but mirrors reflecting the heart, showing us where life is currently heading. If you have a calmer heart, meet more friends, your body and mind will recover more, opportunities will come at the right time, your finances will be stable, relationships will be smoother, and your spiritual well-being will improve. The strengthening of the Dharma is a very beautiful sign, but don't stop yet. The most valuable thing isn't receiving a good sign, but using it as a reminder to be more vigilant, to do more good, to train your mind, and to appreciate the time you have left. Tonight or tomorrow morning, when you listen to this Dharma discourse, please examine your own heart sincerely. Don't compare yourself to others, don't rush to believe everything. Just observe slowly where your life has become lighter, where it has become heavier, and why. From today onwards, what kind of causes will you choose to create? If your life has been very difficult in the past, filled with disappointment, and you often cried in silence, don't conclude that you lack merit. Perhaps everything you've been through was a period when past karma was bearing intense fruit. Today, your heart turning back to the Dharma may be the beginning of getting closer to the chain of truth. May the power of the triple gem and all the merit you have accumulated be the cause and factor that keeps your heart. Steadfast in righteousness, may the light of mindfulness protect you when you are unaware, may wisdom arise when you are hesitant, may peace come in times of difficulty, and may you have the strength to continue doing good without weariness. If you wish to share in the merit, you can type Sadhu, Amen, below the video. This is not to show off to anyone, but to remind myself that from today onwards I will live more mindfully, speak less about things that are not beneficial, and do more good in what I can. I offer my gratitude to everyone who has listened attentively until this point. Even pausing to listen to the Dharma once is a merit. May the fruits of this intention gradually transform into purity of heart, strength in upholding morality, mindfulness when emotions lead the way, and wisdom that helps one escape the old path of suffering. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu. But to prevent this Dharma discourse from ending merely with listening and passing by, I invite everyone to consider it more deeply. Many people see positive signs in their lives but miss them because they misinterpret them. Some think they have exhausted their karma and become complacent. Some think their lives are improving and revert to their desires. Some see temporary peace and mistakenly believe they have reached enlightenment. All of this causes the merit that is beginning to ripen to be lost. Stopping midway is why, When you see early signs that your mind is calming down, what you should do is not be satisfied with yourself, but maintain that calmness with mindfulness. Don't let calmness become stillness. Don't let mindfulness become emotional suppression. Feel truthfully, but don't let your mind be carried away. Accept that you still have feelings, but you don't need to respond to every feeling with words and actions. A person who is truly calm will be more mindful of their words. They will be more aware before speaking, more aware before judging others, and will be more aware before judging anyone. There will be periods of pause. These pauses are valuable because they are the areas where new karma is interrupted. If you react immediately when affected, try practicing silence for one breath today. This way, old karma won't drag you into creating more negative karma. Repeat the process when you see the second sign that you are beginning to meet good people. Know the arrow and cherish the good people in your life. Many people lose good people because of familiarity, seeing good intentions as commonplace, and instead choose to harm those who cause them more turmoil. But the wise know that those who remind us to be mindful, those who are close enough to be ourselves without pretense, those who don't lead us astray, are blessings in life that should be protected. Protecting good friendships isn't about clinging to them, but about treating them with sincerity, gratitude, listening, apologizing when wrong, and rejoicing when they prosper. If we use good people only for our own benefit, one day we will lose them. But if we value good people with a cherished heart, this blessing will grow even more, and our lives will not be lonely in times of crisis. When you see the third sign that your physical and mental health is improving, don't use that strength to harm yourself. Don't use the days of relief to indulge in things that cloud your mind again. Don't use the period of reduced suffering to relapse into vices or overuse your body. Some people, after a period of relief from stress, revert to extreme lifestyles, neglecting sleep, eating whatever they want, and speaking impulsively, only to wonder why the feeling of lightness and comfort has disappeared. A mindful person will consider improved health as an opportunity to do good. If you have strength, perform your duties well. If you have strength, help others. If you have strength, go to the temple. If you have strength, meditate. If you have strength, get up and resolve past mistakes. Because a strong body is a crucial asset for practice. If this asset is used correctly, merit will grow closer. If used incorrectly, strength may lead us to create more causes of suffering. Another sign is when you see the fourth signal, that opportunities are starting to come at the right time. Don't be fooled into thinking that every open door is the one you should enter. Merit isn't something that gives us everything. It's what gives us the wisdom to choose things that don't harm our lives. Sometimes you gain a lot of money but lose your moral principles. Sometimes you gain fame but lose your peace of mind. Sometimes it seems like a trap, but it's actually a deep hole hidden within. Those whose past karma is truly weakening will not only be lucky but will also begin to make wise choices. In the present era, there are many jobs, investments, and relationships that seem good on the surface, but upon closer examination, lead to lying, taking advantage of others, or risking immoral conduct. Know that this is not the smooth sailing that comes from merit, but a test of whether your heart remains steadfast. If you dare to refuse what is wrong, even if it seems worthwhile, then you are on your way. Merit will protect you even more, and the right path will gradually become clearer later, once you see the fifth sign that your finances are stabilizing. The important thing is to know the meaning of enough. Those who don't have enough in their hearts, no matter how much more money they receive, will always remain poor. Their hearts are never satisfied. They are poor because they want more than they need, poor because they tie their self-worth to wealth. But those who know contentment, even with little, can live peacefully because they don't have to struggle to prove their status to the whole world. Use this period of improved finances to lay a new foundation for your life. Use what you should save, allocate what you should share, repay those who have been kind to you, and donate to charity without causing yourself hardship. True charity isn't given to please others, but comes from a bright heart, giving without regret, without belittling the recipient, and softening the heart of the giver. When you see the sixth sign that your relationship is improving, don't assume that the other person has to change completely for your relationship to be at peace. Often, relationships change because we stop fueling the fire, stop having unrealistic expectations, stop bringing up old issues at inappropriate times, and stop dwelling on past grievances. This isn't giving up, but rather not perpetuating suffering from one generation to another, from one day to the next. Many theists grew up in homes where they never said, sorry, never said, thank you, and never expressed love gently. When they reach working age or start their own families, they unconsciously continue using the same old patterns. But when merit awakens our hearts, we begin to dare to do new things, such as speaking kindly even when we're not used to it, humbly asking for forgiveness even when our ego is still strong, and being a little more patient with our family members. These small things are how we build merit in the form of relationships. The seventh insight is that your heart is releasing its attachments. Don't be surprised if you start to find some things you used to enjoy. Things that once excited you may begin to seem empty. Consuming dramatic news, following others, and unnecessary competition may gradually become less appealing. This isn't because life has lost its color, but because your heart is growing and no longer satisfied with the fleeting excitement it once provided. Many mistakenly believe that practicing Dharma makes life boring, but the truth is quite the opposite. Dharma allows us to see the beauty of small things more clearly, to appreciate the value of normal breathing, to find joy in eating mindfully, to see the warmth of a simple home, and to appreciate the value of a heart that doesn't need to compete with anyone. This is a happiness that is more stable than the fleeting pleasures we constantly chase. If you begin to love simplicity more, become more authentic than superficial, and begin to respect the passage of time and life, respecting and honoring death is emerging wisdom, and this wisdom will be the greatest umbrella in life. Because even if one day everything outside changes, wisdom will still protect your heart from collapsing. Now, consider another perspective. If these signs are not yet clear in our lives, should we give up hope? The answer is no, because Dharma is not about comparison, not about who has more signs than whom and therefore is better. Dharma is about knowing the truth of where we are today and where we started. If your mind is still very restless, start by reducing things that disturb you, reducing the consumption of information that makes you angry, and reducing unnecessary conversations with people who make you angry. If you don't yet have good friends, start by becoming someone that good people want to associate with. If your body is still weary, start by getting enough rest. If you don't yet have good opportunities, start by doing your duty honestly. If your finances are still tight, start by stopping the leaks that need stopping. If the relationship is still heated, start by reducing hurtful words. If your faith is weak, start by listening to short Dharma talks regularly. Dharma never cures illness, and merit isn't only generated when visiting a large temple. Merit is generated every time you choose not to retaliate with anger, every time you admit your mistakes, every time you endure provocation, every time you help someone without expecting anything in return, every time you are mindful of your breath instead of letting your mind wander. These small things can accumulate into a powerful force, provided you practice them consistently. If you want to maintain merit and hasten your life towards greater peace, try scheduling simple moments in your life in 3 stages. In the morning, briefly reflect on the triple gem and resolve not to speak ill of others. At midday, if something upsets you, pause and take 3 deep breaths before responding, and at night, reflect on whether you unintentionally hurt anyone today. If so, sincerely apologize and resolve to correct it tomorrow. Just this small action can begin to change your life. Some people wait until they have more time or are ready to do good deeds, but the truth is, much of this readiness doesn't come before action. It comes after consistently taking small actions, like drops of water. Filling a container. Merit is similar. It doesn't come from one great achievement, but from repeatedly doing good with a sincere heart. Remember, a better life doesn't mean you'll never encounter suffering again, but it means that when suffering comes, you will suffer gracefully, not breaking apart quickly like before, not causing harm to others like a pile of rubbish, and recovering more quickly. This is the result of merit, far deeper than mere good fortune. Therefore, if today you are in a period where you are beginning to see the light, be grateful for every event that causes tension, even old suffering, because often it is suffering itself that brings us back to Dharma, that shows us that what truly helps us is not escaping the world, but having a trained mind capable of living in the world without being overwhelmed by it. Keep this Dharma teaching in mind for consideration on days when your mind is calm. Don't listen just for a temporary feeling of well-being, but listen to change small things in your real life. Because a lighter life doesn't come from simply asking for karma to disappear, but from not adding new karma and gradually increasing merit every day without giving up. Another thing to be careful of is not to judge others based on your own changes. Some people, when their minds become calmer, mistakenly look down on those who are still suffering. When their lives improve, they mistakenly think that others suffer because they have less merit. Such thoughts are difficult to understand. They are very subtle and are the seed of mana that causes merit to leak away unknowingly. A righteous practitioner becomes more humble as life improves, and more empathetic towards those still trapped in darkness, knowing they too have been through that. When you see others easily angered, use them as a mirror, not as a target for your contempt. When you see others still clinging to praise, remember that you too were once like that. When you see someone suffering from love, possessiveness, or attachment, show compassion, not criticize them for not letting go, because everyone has their own time, and Dharma flourishes best in a heart that receives compassion, not judgment. If you want to know if your merit is truly protecting you, observe unexpected events. Those are the clearest tests. When everything is going smoothly, everyone speaks well, but when rejected or losing benefits, the truth is revealed. When faced with unfair words or disappointment from loved ones, if your heart can still uphold righteousness and you haven't yet succumbed to suffering by harming others, that's clear evidence that negative karma is beginning to work within you. Many people want to know if their karma is exhausted, but they rarely ask what new karma they are creating today. Some want answers from external sources, but don't forget that the truest answer lies in our daily behavior. If you still speak sarcastically, are envious when you see others succeed, spread conflict, and deceive yourself with the same old excuses, even if your life appears happy on the outside, you are still far from true peace. But if today you start speaking better, being honest, responsible, and gentler, even if you don't see significant outward results, Be confident that you are on the right path. The Buddha always emphasized not to rely solely on formalities. Don't rely solely on prayer. Expect results from righteous actions. Bowing before the Buddha is good, chanting is good, offering alms to monks is good. But if, after leaving the temple, you return to lying, taking advantage of, and harming others as before, the results will be incomplete. Conversely, if someone has faith, even if not fervent, and strives to maintain righteous speech, mind, and actions daily, the results will surely manifest, even if sooner or later. Therefore, if you see signs that your life is improving, use this time as the best season to sow the seeds. Don't waste it on negligence, delusion, or excessive indulgence, but use it to accumulate things that will truly follow you: morality, concentration, wisdom, kindness, compassion, and honesty in your duties. Many people ask, if merit begins to accumulate, how should one pray? The answer is, praying correctly isn't just about asking for everything to go your way, but about praying for the wisdom to accept both success and failure properly. Pray for mindfulness, not being swayed by success. Pray for patience and unwavering faith when facing obstacles. Pray that any success that comes your way doesn't make you forget the good you should uphold, and pray that any remaining suffering doesn't lead you back into darkness. This is the prayer of a wise person, not praying for the world to revolve according to your wishes, but praying that your heart lives in the world correctly. When your heart is right, the world won't easily become your enemy. When your heart is right, even if some past karma remains, you will accept it without adding to your burden. And when you don't add to your burden, the path of merit will open up even further. Don't underestimate the observance of the 5 precepts, for these are the gifts that bring peace to all. People who don't harm each other are few. People who don't steal are few. A person who trusts others, who is not wrong in matters of the heart, has a stable relationship. A person who doesn't lie has trustworthy words. A person who isn't drunk and reckless is mindful because they don't easily create harm. Many times, people complain that their lives are not smooth, but upon closer inspection, they are still regularly violating basic moral principles. It's no wonder that the consequences of their actions continue to follow. If you truly want a life filled with peace and merit, don't overlook the simplicity of morality, don't overlook the power of speaking the truth, don't overlook the value of living moderately, don't overlook apologizing when you're wrong, don't overlook forgiving when forgiveness is deserved, and don't overlook constantly understanding yourself. Dharma is not far away. It is in the moments before you speak, before you choose, before you decide, and before you respond to the world each day. Remember that true merit is not something to be found. What makes others envious is not the wealth that allows one to sleep peacefully, to wake up without fear, to wake up without hating life, to have few people around, to have moderate wealth without hardship, to have honest work without shame, to have a heart that knows when to stop worrying, to have a heart that knows when to be content. This is a deeper wealth than numbers, and this is the merit that only those with mindfulness can see. Finally, if today, after listening to this Dharma discourse, you feel that some sentences have touched your heart, please do not let it fade away with the noise of tomorrow. Even just one small thing, if you put it into practice, could mean not speaking ill of others for one day. It could be praying before picking up the phone in the morning. It could be thanking your family. It could be refraining from retaliating when provoked. It could be dedicating merit to those who have wronged you with a calm heart. Just one small thing that you do sincerely is worth it. Rather than hundreds of expressions of gratitude that fail to change behavior, may these 7 signs not be just beautiful words in a video, but guiding principles you can use throughout your life. On days of suffering, reflect on whether you are fueling your own suffering. On Fridays, reflect on whether you are becoming complacent with your good deeds. On days of uncertainty, return to morality, mindfulness, and the truth of cause and effect. If you can do this, even amidst the turmoil of the world, your heart will always have a home within. May the purity of merit protect you all. May negative influences gradually weaken, may positive influences gradually grow, may remaining suffering become a lesson, not shackles, and may all the good you have done be a steadfast love of peace today and in the days to come. Amen. Before ending this, I would like to leave you with one more short consideration. When you see life gradually improving, don't forget to reflect on what you dedicate the most time to. If you still prioritize distractions over peace, if you still spend more time finding fault with others than examining your own mind, if you still give time to desires over contentment, then your accumulated merit will gradually be overshadowed. But if you begin to dedicate time to stillness, to family, to fulfilling your duties, to reflecting on impermanence, your life will flourish and progress in a positive direction. Don't be afraid that practicing Dharma will slow you down compared to others, because those who rush without mindfulness may get close quickly but easily get lost, while those who walk mindfully, though seemingly slow, are steadily and don't waste time frequently going back to pick up the pieces of their own hearts. Wise slowness is far better than frantic speed. If one day you feel that the peace you once had is beginning to disappear, don't panic. Don't conclude that your merit has run out. Sometimes, it's just a fleeting wave of life. The important thing when things return to impact you isn't that you've never wavered, but how quickly you can return to the Dharma when you do, whether you can regain awareness of your breath, whether you can recognize your own words, and whether you can break the old cycle. If you can return faster than before, that's a very good sign. I urge you all to walk the path of Dharma gently, without putting too much pressure on yourselves, without comparing yourselves to anyone, but also without letting yourselves go. Maintain balance, like a harp string that is neither too taut nor too loose, and life will gradually unfold its beautiful sound through the power of good cause and beautiful results that will follow at the appropriate time. And if there's one sentence I want to leave you with as the heart of all this, it's, don't wait for life to be free of problems before you find peace, but train your mind to be peaceful even when problems remain, because when your mind is peaceful, you will see problems as the work you need to do isn't about burning yourself out. When your mind is calm, you'll listen to others more, react less, judge more slowly, and choose the right thing more easily. Many times, past karma causes us to encounter the same things repeatedly, the same people, similar situations. But if our hearts don't react in the same way, the cycle will gradually stop. This is something very profound, because ending karma, in one sense, doesn't mean the world stops testing us, but rather that our hearts break free from the old traps. Therefore, if one day you realize that you don't react like before, you don't hate yourself as much, you don't rush to judge others like before, you accept reality more than before, silently rejoice with yourself, because that is true spiritual progress. Even if others don't see it, your heart knows, and karma knows as well.